Good morning, everyone. It's Yankee Wally here. I'm back on the case. And listen, I haven't been reading my comments because I've been asleep all day because I've been awake all night. I'm trying to get myself back into some sort of routine, but it's hard. So I've had a word with my private doctor in Dubai. Doesn't that sound posh? It's when I get online, a doctor online. And I've ordered some Xanax, that's it, Xanax. So I'm hoping I can take those about 11, 12 o'clock, and only very small dose. I think it's 1 milligram, so we'll see how it goes. Now, this Karen Reid case that I've been talking about is very, very interesting, but it's also a bit too above my head. You see, they had a case, she was in court last year, and it was a mistrial. And I picked it up this year, and I've been watching the trial from day one. I think we're on day 7. No trial tomorrow, day 7 on Friday. And it's getting very complicated. It's really complicated. And it's, in the beginning, I thought she was guilty. Then last time I spoke to you, I thought, no, she's not guilty. And I still think she's not guilty. In fact, I'm sure of it, but I still think that there's a lot more to come out. It's awful what's happened. Now, they say that they're trying to say that Karen Reid hit him over with her Lexus. And she did have a broken taillight. But it's also become apparent that the people that were inviting John O'Keefe back to their place for a drink didn't like him. The father, Brian Albert, he'd had a beef with John over something, and his mate, who's called Brian Higgins, he didn't like John either because Higgins had tried to hit on Karen and it didn't work out. So I think he thought if he could give John a good old hiding, I don't know. But anyway, this is the scene when they left the Waterfall pub at around about midnight, and they were all heading back to Brian Albert's house. He's quite high up in the police force. Now, I think Karen Reid had a bad feeling because she didn't want to go back, but she was willing to drop John off. And she dropped him off, and then he didn't reply to her after he went into the house. So she got all mouthy and aggressive, and then she drove off and went home, woke up 3 hours later, and she knew John wasn't home, and she panicked, at which point some of the women came out and said, "We'll help you look for him." And they went to Fairview, and Karen found John on the front lawn covered in snow. It's all about timing and timelines. They had this bloke in there the other day. Gosh, he knew his computers. Fair play. I really respected him, and he had downloaded all the information. You want to see the stuff they can save on a smartphone these days? He had an Apple phone. Apple is, I think, a little bit more high tech than Android. I actually absolutely love Samsung. That's my phone. I can't get on with an Apple at all. But I think you make your choice way back in the 2000s, don't you? And I think the Androids were slightly cheaper, so I went with that. But I absolutely love my Samsung Galaxy. I love it. I just love it. It's nothing it won't do. And Apple, if you go onto an Apple, it uses a whole different operating system. And it takes quite a bit of getting used to it. Well, I'm not going to bother. But anyway, take a look at this now. I only want to show you. Right, wait there. Right. You've got, in the middle there, the one with his face under those two pictures. He's Higgins. And then you've got Chris Albert and Brian Albert. Brian Higgins. And just look at the body language and just see if you can see that they are trying to get John to go with them back to the house for a drink. And that, to me, if somebody was all over me saying, come back, and I'd had beef with them in the past, I certainly, I wouldn't go. But anyway, here we go. Those three, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Chris Albert. And those are the three that I believe set on John O'Keefe. I think he was dragged down into the cellar. I think he was hit with a barbell on the back of the head, which is where the big split comes from. I think they all tucked into him. He had 2 black eyes and he had dog bites all up his right arm. And they're trying to say that he got that from being hit over by a Lexus. No, because Karen was drunk, you see, so they can throw that at her. But anyway, these are the 3 that set on John O'Keefe. And then when they realised that he wasn't dead at the time, but they might have thought he was, they waited till the coast was clear, about 3 o'clock, and then dragged him out and dumped him on the front lawn by where Karen had parked when she was waiting for John to tell her he was okay, and then she was going to drive home, but he didn't. And his Apple Watch, no, is it Apple Watch or phone? One of them told the computer men that he'd gone up 3 flights of stairs, or down 3 flights of stairs, and down to well, they didn't say the basement, but that's where he must have been going. There's steps up to the front door, and then there's steps down to the basement. And it seems to be that the phone will actually, tell them more than a bunch of lying men would do. I truly believe that these 3 men killed John O'Keefe. Microdots is the name of this channel. And I'm just reading the comments now. You don't need to be a body language expert to see that something isn't right here. And then somebody's saying, Higgy, wait till we get to my place. Too many cameras here. They're setting it up, though. They're all mates. There's no argument going on there. What they're trying to do is stop him waving John over, I think, for some reason, because I think he was going to start an argument with him in this pub called the Waterfall. Like I said, it's complicated, and I don't think I've got the brains or the time or the... I think in order to get myself proper into this, I'd need to watch the first trial and then watch the second trial, because people's stories change as well. And apparently a woman called Jen, who was on the stand all day today, she must have been exhausted, but she's very much involved. She's one of the cover-ups. Jen Mabe, I think her name is. She was she was good on the stand, she didn't lose her temper or anything. But she's trying to throw Karen under the bus. Everyone's trying to throw Karen because she just happened to be the convenient one. Plus she was pissed. You wonder sometimes if they planned it, maybe to get Karen pissed, or whether they just took a lucky break that was coming their way. I don't think they meant to kill John O'Keefe. I think they meant to give him a hiding. But look at the size on those 3 beefy men there. Look at the size of them. And I was looking at these. You can read so much from people's body language. And the one there with the hat on the right, when I can always tell when people, well, I shouldn't say it, but I suppose I can say it. I can tell when a person is an alcoholic by the way they drink. Can you? I really can. You can tell. It's the way that when they first start drinking, they're more focused on taking drinks of their pint than they are on chatting to you or even talking to anybody. And it's only after they've had about 3 or 4 pints of beer that they start becoming more sociable. It's a fact. I've noticed it with people all the time when they start gulping and gulping when their first drink. And I know it's just, you just learn these things. And another thing I gotta say, you know, there's another case now in Maui off in Hawaii. This doctor and his wife, right, it was her birthday, so he took her up to the top of one of the volcanoes to celebrate her birthday. I don't know why he took her up there, but anyway, he got a bit mad with her because she wouldn't have her selfie taken on the edge of the cliff, which is what he planned. So he got a bit mad, so mad that as she went back to the bushes, he picked up a great big rock and smashed it into her head. And then he had a syringe in his pocket with something in the syringe which he tried to inject her with. So he must have pre-planned it. And now he wants bail. It's in court. It's on the Law and Crime Network. It's in court next month. Well, give him bail. It's only an island. He'll either do a runner or hunt her down and finish her off so that she won't contest against him. Terrible situation. Oh, God, it puts you off. And I'll tell you something else too. He's got another woman. That's why he wants bail. He's got another woman. You'll never find a man will never leave a woman to go and live in a shabby little bedsitter on the bad side of town on his own and iron his own shirts and cook his own food. Why would he? He wouldn't. If a man is going to leave you, don't ever believe him when he says, oh, there's nobody else. Of course there is. And she's got the extra groceries in, she's prepped her iron and got her spray starch and all that. She's expecting him. She's got everything ready, even a new pair of pyjamas for him. He won't leave you unless he's got somebody else. No man would. They'll put up with hell if they got clean shirts and their food all cooked for them and they can go to the pub every night. So if ever a man says, I want to separate, there's nobody else. There is. I wouldn't say that's always right, but it is like, I don't know, 90%, I reckon. So these lot here now are planning to give John O'Keefe a bloody good hiding. Oh, they scare me, people like this. Beers in, brains out. Ooh. They're talking now. He's calling John over. Come on, we're going. Come on, John. That's Higgins. You know, if John hadn't had so much to drink and if Karen hadn't had so much to drink, they could probably see that a lot more clearly. Nobody invites you back. In fact, you know, I wouldn't go back to anybody's place after I'd been to the pub. No, certainly not with a single man, but having said that, I did actually. It was about a year ago now, and I'd been up to Splot. Splot is in Cardiff, and I had to go up there for something. So on the way back, I called into the Clifton pub. And I ended up staying there from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon until about 10 o'clock at night. That was, I usually, if I go in a pub in the day, well, I will if I'm out, because, you know, what, you make a day of it, isn't it? A couple of packets of cheese and onion crisps and a couple of pints of lager. And this bloke, he got chatting to me, and he said he had a shop. He had a grocery shop on Clifton Street, next door but one to the Clifton pub, so he said. He said, I live above the shop. Come back to my place and you can have a drink. And I went. I did. He was Asian, he was. And he was, oh my God, he must have been half my age, probably less. And he had a beautiful cat. And he gave me to drink. What did he give me? Oh, I know. It was, it's not Jim Beam, it's the other one. Jack Daniels. No, it was Jim Beam. And it was like a liqueur. It was honey whiskey, something like that. And I thought, oh, this is going to be strong, and, you know, but it wasn't. It tasted really nice, like a liqueur. And I only had one glass, and then I said, I gotta go. And then he asked me out. I said, look, I said, you're barking up the wrong tree. I said, I only came back yet. And he gave me like 6 boxes of cat food from his shop, put it all in carrier bags. I rang a Uber and I went. We exchanged numbers, and he texted me for a while. And he said he went to church across the way. And I said, oh, I might come to that church with you. And then I thought afterwards, no, he was very intense, you know. And his family all lived in London, and he was down here on his own, opening a shop, which I admired him for. He was lovely to talk to, but come on, I mean, good God. And not only that, but I'd made a mistake. I'd done my own Botox. It was about last summer, I think, and I'd put some filler in my lips. I thought if I buy it from wherever, Korea, and I do it myself, it'll be cheaper. It was cheaper, but I'm not an experienced, and I had one lip up in like Elvis Presley. Come to think of it. Oh, and I could remember I'd met these 2 girls, and I said to them, oh, I can do your Botox. Look, I've done my lips in filler. They must have thought, bloody hell, no, no thanks. But yeah, either. And now I wanted to go to this church. It's only over the way in St. Peter Place, I think, but I can't go now because apparently it's full of like, I don't know, the Asians have taken it over, and he said that black people, not that I care, it's just that the way that they are with religion, it's not what I'm used to. I'm not into this happy clappy sort of stuff. I'm more into, well, Welsh chapel, you know. I'm quiet. I'd like to go to church to have a little bit of quiet, you know, and to think about why I'm there. I don't understand other people's religions, and I wouldn't mind going to a Buddhist place. I would do that, but anyway, I haven't seen him since, but that's just as well. Now, why was I talking about that? So anyway, yeah, I'm going to lay off the Karen Reid trial, because unless you're interested in it, and I haven't even read the comments yet because, like I said, I've been having this sleeping problem. So Jen McCabe, that was her name, sorry, Jen McCabe, rolling the cover up. Oh, it's deep down the waterfall, decoding the waterfall. I am quite fascinated. You be the judge. It's a complicated one. Anyway, where am I now? Let's go back to this. Right, Meghan Markle and this bloody what was her name now? Here we are. Meghan Markle and what's her name now? The one that she did the podcast with. I can't even remember her name. She's got a couple of names, hasn't she? History. No, I can't do that. Jamie Link. Oh, what's it called? I don't know. Anyway, they had Meghan did a podcast on her channel, and she did a podcast on Meghan's channel. Jamie Kern Lima, Meghan Markle. There we go. There they both are here. It's at 226. That is her 49th episode. Jamie Kern. That's strange. Oh, that's a 9-minute one. And she's so full of lies again. And she even, what did she give away this time? You know, Meghan's got a hell of a problem, and it's going to get worse, and it's beginning to sort of gather speed as it's rolling down the hill, because she knows that in order to get any attention now, she has to come up with something new, something that's not a lie, that can be factually checked. Nothing like we got married 3 days before the wedding. So she said that her blood group was A positive. She said to this Jamie Kern Lima, even my blood group is ambitious, A positive. But anyway, I thought, oh, Meghan, you might be sorry you said that one day, because your blood group is one of the things that can identify you. Don't get me wrong, my daughter's got a different blood group to me, but it's not that. Some blood groups are just not compatible with each other. It's like if you've got, I don't know, an unusual blood group, because for all we know, little Lilibet might have, or Archie might have an unusual blood group like a minus, and maybe somebody with an A positive wouldn't have a child with that blood group. That's what I'm trying to say. She might be sorry. Blood groups are not as good as DNA, obviously, but at the same time, they do help. They do help. They can tell you what can't be related. So you never know. One day somebody might find out that Lilibet has got this really unusual blood group that Meghan couldn't possibly have had. Because I know that if a child has got a different blood group, they've got to sometimes treat the mother with some sort of antibodies all through her pregnancy so that it's compatible. That's how they get about it. And as far as we know, Meghan hasn't had to have any extra care, did she? Even though she had 2 epidurals. And then Harry had all the gas. Oh, anyway, this girl, Jamie Kern Lima, quite an intelligent girl, very ambitious. She started from nothing, absolutely nothing, worked her way up to sell her business, which was makeup, IT cosmetics, to L'Oreal for 1.2 billion. That's not bad. That's very good. That's incredibly good. Apparently, Jamie Lee. Oh, anyway, she's got that rosacea. I think I said this in the last video. You know, when your skin is automatically red. Now, when I was a teenager, Avon, I used to buy Avon makeup, and they had a treatment for rosacea. Now I'm talking 50 years ago. They sold 3 pots of cream, all in different colours. One was pale green, one was apricot colour, and one was mauve. And it was an under cream to put on under your foundation. It's got to be 50 years ago. And I used to always have a high colour, so I used to buy the green cream, and I used to put it on my cheeks before I put my foundation on, and it worked. So I expect she's reinvented that. She's not do you know that woman there, Jamie Keenan, used to be Miss
I reckon.
what's her?
So.
Miss Washington.
Oh.
All right, so I mean, I got no qualms about anyone putting on weight, but you see now, Meghan, what has she got that Meghan wants? Well, she's got the ability to make a lot of money, and she's got the ambition to do it. And apparently, Oprah Winfrey was her mentor, which Meghan said, oh, she's mine as well. I don't think so. I don't think so. You see, unlike Meghan, Jamie has been there, done that. She's done it. She's made a successful business. And it's not easy. And I say to you now, I say it again, I don't think Meghan has made not even 1 red cent out of anything she's done so far. Not counting Netflix and Spotify, because they are like the paymasters. You don't have to be a successful entrepreneur. You just have to do what Netflix wants, and they pay you the contract, don't they? Or write a book or whatever, you know. But as far as Strawberry Jam, American Riviera Orchard, As Ever, With Love, whatever, biscuits, flowers, those sort of things, they're not going to make her any money. They're not. Because she didn't invent it. She's buying in and selling out. And that's the difference. If you're buying something that somebody else has written, you know, musicians, Taylor Swift, let's look at her. If she was just singing songs that somebody else has written, she'd never be as rich as she is. The money in music is for the people that write the songs. Because if you write the song, you've got the rights to that song and all the money that it makes. Whereas if you're just a really good singer, maybe Adele, you've got to pay the royalties to the person that wrote the song. And that's how it works. So with Meghan and her, what's she got now? She got crepe mix. She doesn't make the crepe mix. She doesn't make the shortcake mix. I know she's given it you to make yourself, but she didn't make the powder or the base that's in the box that she's selling you. She's buying that in, and the jam. She's done a few little test runs where she's picked a cup. She wouldn't have enough strawberries in her garden to make the quantity that she's hoping to sell. Now, another thing you've got to watch when you're selling stuff that other people make is stock control, because stock is tied up money. If you've got $1 million to invest in a business, well, put it this way, I wouldn't have a business that sells what somebody else has made. I would not do that unless I was a big store like Neiman Marcus, is it, or Saks Fifth Avenue, where you sell everything, all the designers. You've got the lot, so people come to you for it. That's a different thing, being a department store. But if you're a seller of small little things in little cottage industry, you've got to make as much money as you can off each of those items without going overboard on price. So you've got to make the base mix, haven't you? And you've got to keep your stock levels. It's no point holding 2 years' worth of stock if you're only selling 10 jars a week. And that's why she hasn't got any stock. That's why she's still sold out. Because she doesn't know how many to buy in, because she's got to pay for those before she gets her money from the seller. She's got to tell whoever it is there's somebody doing it for her. So she's got to pay them too. I forgot what their name is now, Snowflake or something. She's got to tell them what stock to hold, and the more stock she wants to hold, the more it's going to cost her. Because she's beholden to the manufacturer of the crepes and the biscuits and the flower petals. She's got to pay the person that does the vending, and she's going to sit down and just money's going to roll in. No, it isn't. People are too savvy these days. A name doesn't sell on its own, especially if you're not known for being a cook like Martha Stewart. You've got to have something that's different and better and above everybody else. I don't know what I could even suggest to her, because I think that this girl, Meghan, is still stuck at 11, 12 years of age. Have you noticed that? She doesn't have anything new. She's reverting back to when she had the take first. She's gone back to that. What else has she got? She had a bit part in Suits. Now, I watch Mike Zero on YouTube, and he says that, she has been blacklisted in Hollywood. She really has been blacklisted. But the thing is, every time he comes on, he tells me of another couple of companies that have dropped her, dumped her, or blacklisted her. The only man that she's got on her side is Ted Saranson. I think he might be trying to distance himself from her. But anyway, this Jamie, I don't understand. She's got 2 children too. I don't understand how Jamie, if she sold her business for 1.2 billion, at what point do you say, that's enough now, I'm just going to be a good mother. I'm just going to, I've got enough to pay for everything. I don't need to work. I'm going to do some charity work, or why has she got to start a podcast? What is she going to gain from that? Maybe she's just ambitious like Meghan, but they've double recorded this and put it on this one. Whoops-a-daisy. Oh, look what it says here. I came here just to read the comments, and I am not disappointed. Who else came immediately? Paused the video and straight to the comments. What utter trash this interview is. Nothing can rehabilitate her image. Jamie, read the room. Not everyone can be wrong. She will never, ever be forgiven for what she did to Her Majesty the late Queen. Oh, and she said to Jamie, that's right, she said, we had this wedding and we had everything, and then it was Harry and me in the trenches. Well, if my grandfather had heard her say that, he'd have bloody gone mad. She got no idea what the trenches were. She doesn't even know what the trenches were. You know what they were, don't you? It was in the First World War, mostly, when they were on the Dunkirk on the coast of France, and they used to dig trenches right down, come up to their chest, up to their shoulders, and they were just muddy trenches, and they'd go to the toilet in them, sleep in them, eat in them. Yeah, you'd know if you was in the trenches, Meghan. But anyway, yeah, World War II, brave soldiers. There, no words for this ridiculous comment. Thank you to the real men and women who served in the trenches. What makes her so inauthentic is the way she portrays herself as someone who's a loving person who spreads love and joy and values family inclusivity. Yet her and her husband have alienated. It's the same old, same old. Princess Catherine and Prince William is their 14th wedding anniversary this week sometime. And they're up on the Isle of Mull, up in Scotland. And it was quite strange because Meghan makes a point of saying to Jamie, it's our 7th wedding anniversary in a couple of weeks. I thought, she can't let Catherine. She still feels entitled to some of that royal magic dust, gold dust. She still feels entitled. What she can't seem to grip is the fact that she blew it. Oh, God, she blew it. And if it had been me that had blown my future such an opportunity, I would never, I would have to disappear. I would leave the country, leave America, leave UK. I'd go and work on a kibbutz in Israel. I'd have to do something to totally change everything. But of course, she had these children, but the questions are coming out about the children more and more and more. And King Charles, and did you know that she sent a hold on, my nose needs a blow. Sorry about that. Here I am. And where was I? What was I talking about? No, Meghan Markle, you're not a great anything, certainly not a friend. You're abhorrent treatment of your father. She'll never get in touch with her father now because she's one of these obstinate people. She won't back down. And it's silly, really, because she knows in her heart, deep down inside her, when she's alone at night and she thinks about things, she knows it's all her doing, why they're where they are. And it couldn't have happened to a more deserved couple, if you ask me. I never particularly liked Harry. I know Avid Gardner did. She still thinks there's hope for Harry. I think she writes him letters and everything. But she's got a big heart. Me, nah. He always was a spoilt little boy. He always behaved abhorrently. But Prince William, I've always had a soft spot for. I think he's wonderful. And couldn't wish for a better king in waiting. Anyway, her and Jamie now were falling out. I don't know if you know this, but this is what's happened. You see, Meghan sent Jamie one of her little goodie baskets. You know how she tries to buy her friends with jam, strawberry jam in a load of lemons, or raspberry jam. And she sent a jar of strawberry soup, little liquid, and 2 pots of ice cream. She sent that over to Jamie's house. I don't know how she did it, and we all know ice cream melts, so I don't know quite what Jamie received. But anyway, with it, she put in a compliment slip, and she used her royal cipher, and she used HRH. Let me show you. It's here. There we go. With the compliments of HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. Plus, I didn't know this till Lady C pointed it out. You see the crown on top of the M? That's the crown of a prince and a princess. Or is it the queen or the king? They can tell by looking at the crown what status the person is. And she should really be using the crown of a duchess, I suppose. I'm not quite sure, but she's still using the royal one that she should not use for HRH. And in those 2 things, saying Strauss, is ice cream. I mean, get it in the fridge already, you know? So anyway, she received this from Meghan, and God knows why the mint is on the side, but anyway, looks healthy enough. She stuck this on her Instagram. And of course, it opened the door then to a lot of comments and everybody, because they did promise the Queen that they would not use their HRH title, and they would not, well, not for making money, not for commercial purposes. And she's put her jam in there, and it's not her ice cream, admitted. Well, it might be. No, I don't think so. And I think she's cutting costs by using her paper shredder contents to buff it out a bit now. No more lemons. Tight git. She put this on her Instagram and it caused Meghan to have a bit of grief. So I think they've fallen out because maybe she didn't ask permission. But that's the trouble with Meghan, you see. She's got all these compartments in her head, all of them. And she's got to the point now where every time she's got to come up with something new, like I'm blood group A positive, or maybe she isn't, maybe that's a lie just to say that even her blood group is ambitious. You don't know with Meghan, but she's got to remember everything she said, because if she doesn't remember, she's going to, well, get caught out again, isn't she? Because she's battling it. Her honesty is up against quite a few million people that are already in doubt of her. They think she's shady. So she's got to stop lying, but it's not going to happen, is it? It really isn't going to happen. Look at Bridget Macron at the Pope's funeral. There's a clip in her hair, a black clip. And now wig could do with a bloody wash. I'm not being funny, but it really could. And she's got this really snub little nose. Sorry, she's a man. Her wig is bigger than him. She is a man, and I'm allowed to say that now because the law is passed. There are only two gendered. Thank God for that. Thank God. You know, it really is thank God for that, because she is a man. Candace Owens found out. Right there. Anyway, she should have wore a hat, but she didn't. Obviously, she would have had trouble. Maybe that's why the black clip was there. Maybe she tried a black hat and had to take it off and forgot the clip. But that wig is dirty. You can tell by the way the strands kind of cling together. Yeah, they don't fall like loose hair. You know, if you've just had a haircut, especially maybe your hair was like that and you had it cut and a shampoo and blow dry, your hair would not cling to you. Wouldn't cling in little locks like that, would it? It would fall better. She's getting a bit sloppy in her 72 years on this planet. He still looks proud to be with him, though, doesn't he? And her outfit, I got to be honest, that's, you know, that is the best. Look at it. Look at the quality. Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, those buttons. It's just, everything looks like it's chic, isn't it? Even the sleeves of the jacket are all got little seams in them. Oh, how the other half live, eh? But anyway, Melania, she wore a mantilla, which is a Spanish thing, isn't it? Down there like that. But I think, I don't criticise Melania because she's absolutely perfect. She's got black lace gloves on as well. Perfect. But I think she could have done with a little bit of lift at the front. Can you see there? The mantilla, she's put it over her parting and on the top of her head, which is so respectful, it's lovely. But if she had just lifted up her hair, because if you notice the Spanish ladies that wear the mantillas, usually when they're in Spanish dress, they have a sort of a comb or something in their hair, and they rest the mantilla on it. Mind, she couldn't really do that because that would be kind of too much fun loving and therefore disrespectful. But I think she could have backcombed her hair just a little bit and just lifted that, because it does look a bit savage. But well done, Melania. She did look absolutely gorgeous. And after the service was over, the Pope wanted them all to shake hands with each other. That's what they do in a church. You shake hands with the stranger next to you and when the other side. Donald wasn't having none of that. Not Donald in his blue suit when everyone else was in black. And she whispered in his ear, and some lip reader said, she said, "It's what you do. and she had to say it twice. He said, "Oh, all right then." And he shook hands with Macron and somebody from Ukraine, I think. Yeah, a diplomatic faux pas, they called it. Well, there we are. There's her old one. This is when she sent this to Matt Craig. He was Postcards from a Lonely Planet or something like that. He wrote a book and she liked it and she sent him something. And oh, that's I've been watching Celebrity Big Brother UK. I every night at between 9 and 10 o'clock here in UK. I like the winners. This is the first year I have ever been happy with the results. Ooh, Bridget, you'd think you'd get your makeup a bit better, wouldn't you? Never mind. Oh, that's me again with all the things to do with the see how they can download the stuff off of John O'Keefe's cell phone data, all of it, and the Apple Health steps, which tells you that where he went, upstairs, downstairs, everything. So it'll be interesting. I don't think she killed him. Definitely don't. I think that she was as panicked as anybody else when they found his body in the snow, but his body temperature was so high, it wasn't high at all, but he wasn't frozen solid, mean that he'd only been out there. They'd even did it, how many hours it takes to drop a temperature, he'd only been out there about 2 hours, not 4. And that was a big, and then of course the man, what's his name, Brian Albert, whose house it was, he dug up his entire cellar floor because it was concrete, you see, and of course blood seeps into concrete. And because John O'Keefe lost about 3 pints of blood, and it wasn't in the grass. And he dug up his cellar floor with a jackhammer and put all of that into his swimming pool, and then covered his swimming pool with wet cement. Then they sold the house, rehomed the dog, got rid of their phones, even to the point where they took their phones, Brian, Higgins and Albert, to an army base to get rid of them. I don't know how I found that out, but I did. Because police cannot go and search on army bases. You see what I mean when I thought about everything? And so if she is found guilty, it will definitely mean that the police are having a corrupt. The police are corrupt. We know that this bunch of people are corrupt, but to have all of Massachusetts corrupt, because the judge is really, you can tell whose side she's on, and I think it's the Commonwealth, not Karen Reid. And Karen Reid has got an unfortunate face where she kind of looks like she's posing all the time. And that's unfortunate. But again, like I say, she's got multiple sclerosis, which is a terrible debilitating disease. And she's got a ileostomy or stoma bag. Oh, God, I tell you, it's terrible, terrible situation. Anyway, that's what I got so far on that. I bought a lottery ticket this week. There, on Monday. They say they'll tell you if you've won. They haven't told me anything, so I guess I haven't. It was only £3. Sometimes I just get this urge. And look at that. Imagine the change in the Earth's temperature when Britain achieves net zero. Now, there's the world, right? And there's Britain. In fact, it's a joke, isn't it? But the thing is, this is the reason that they give for putting the price up on this, stopping this. Electricity and gas has gone up. Oh, it's for net zero. Well, I saw this video the other day about the Philippines, right? And they all eat tofu out there. And they make tofu from soya beans. And it's killing the people in the Philippines because what do they burn to make the heat to cook the tofu is plastic. Now, you know and I know that the two things in this world that you really don't want to burn is plastic and rubber. You know that. The toxic fumes, the smell is revolting, isn't it? but it's cheaper than wood, so they use it all out in the Philippines. And the fumes get into the tofu, and the parabens, is it? The poison stuff that's in this tofu is like, I don't know, 100 times more than what's a safe level for ordinary, like the Western world. And they're eating it because and this guy who was doing the video said it tastes delicious. You can't taste it, but it's in there, the parabens, poison. Imagine that, because they won't use wood because it's too expensive. But the smoke that was coming out of these chimneys was black, and even the sky was black. Those are the sort of things we got to worry about, isn't it? But I always get solace from, what's his name, Professor Brian somebody or other, and he said, don't worry about the earth will repair itself when all the people are dead. The earth will repair itself. It's the humans that are destroying it, but it won't be gone. It'll come back. And then I think to myself, when I was a kid and we used to get a piece of cardboard and we used to go up this mountain where the grass was all dried in the summer, and we'd get this crisp box or a nice piece of cardboard, and we'd come down that mountain with such speed, and we'd be laughing like hell. And that's what we used to, and then we'd go up the reservoir, because there was a reservoir, but we couldn't go swimming because apparently there was dead sheep in there where the sheep had gone over the edge. And we'd pick wild strawberries. I remember picking wild strawberries and windberries. Now, I think that they call them blueberries today, but I could pick those wild up the mountain in Pontypool. And I think about those days, and we never had to worry then about net zero or anything like that. And we didn't get grief from the rubbish men because we hadn't separated our rubbish into biodegradable glass, plastics, food waste. I don't do it anyway. No, I bloody don't. I mean, I'm not a very big rubbish maker, but I don't pay my council tax and my waste collection fees to have to do all of that myself. Wash out jam jars. I wash them if I want to keep them for me, which I've got plenty now. I'm all right for those, but I'm not going to separate. My mother used to do it religiously, newspapers and glass bottles. Not me. Nah, I can't be doing that. I mean, no, let them do it down at the tip. That's what they get their money for. And they sell it. They sell the waste. They sell old clothes. In fact, you can sell them yourself. There's a place in Cardiff and they pay, I think it's £1 a kilo or 50p a kilo, I don't know. There's a little place down the road and they weigh it up and they go make it into rags. Isn't that great? Nice. They could make it into fireballs. They make them, you can go into a garage and you can buy a brick and it's called a fire brick or something, and it burns for like 8 hours. Coconut is another one that they make the fire bricks out of. Coconut shells. See, there's all sorts of things you can do, but some people just don't want to do it. I don't make any bad waste here. There's nothing. I don't contribute any negative ions to my carbon footprint is zero. I don't even catch the bus now. My bus pass went out of date. I tried to renew it online and they couldn't see my driving licence with my age, so they wouldn't accept it. I thought, stuff you, which only really stuffed me because my bus pass now is about a year out of date. But if I used the bus, it wouldn't use much of the carbon footprint. I haven't got a car anymore and I don't really care. There's no point having a car if every time I went to drive it, I had to get my neighbour to give me a jump start, because the battery had gone flat, because it was a hybrid. It was a nice little car, actually. It was really a nice little car. It would run on petrol, and then it would charge itself up, so that if you ran out of petrol, you could do, I don't know how many miles, because I never ran out of petrol, on its own. It was a Honda Hybrid Jazz. It was a lovely car, but I wasn't using it. From one MOT to the other, it had done 50 miles. I bought it to go and visit my mother, I did. And then she went and died. And of course, that put me right off it then, which is the reason. And another thing I get worried about is, me and my daughter, we don't really get on that well. I mean, we do. She loves me, and I mean, she's my life. But I think I embarrass her a bit from, all the past and everything. No, I'm not ashamed, you know that. I'm just not ashamed of anything I've done. Everything I've done has been for a reason, and so be it. But I think my daughter is a little bit, because I do talk a lot, and I can justify everything I've done in my life, good and bad. I can justify it, But I worry sometimes that she might be listening to my videos, and I don't want her to be embarrassed. She won't even friend me on Facebook or Twitter. I know she's got both. I've had a little look, But I don't even want to ask because she's refused me that many times. Oh, God. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? It really does. But she does live a long way away. And she doesn't realise how difficult I find it to get around now. I could do with a cab, but I don't really want to go anywhere. I am very much a homebody, and I'm very happy with that. But I think she still sees me. I mean, the last time I saw my daughter was, crikey, but I'd moved in here, but I hadn't messed it up then. It was still quite tidy. But 8 years ago, something like that. I haven't seen her since she's had her 4 children. And I'm almost afraid to go up there to see her because I think she always talks to me like she's the mother and I'm the child, And I let her because deep down I don't want to offend her, so I let her. And she does sometimes embarrass me now. I suppose she's getting her own back. And I don't want her to make me look silly in front of her children. Oh, I'd love to go and see them, but I'd have to get the train up, and I got my cat, and at the moment, Trippy, well, there's never going to be a time when I'm going to be able to leave Trippy. No, because I love him. He's my life. He is my life, and I love him so much. He's over-grooming at the moment. Over-grooming is the understatement. He is actually pulling chunks of his own hair out. Now, I can keep it, if I get him in here, and he's on the sofa on the cushion, and I'm stroking him, and I got my hand on him, and I do little things he likes, like comb him and things like that. He's good as gold. But the minute he goes out to go to the loo, or he just pops out, he comes back in like 3 hours late, and there's big patches of, it's like a plucked chicken. That's all I can say. It's like a plucked chicken. And I say, oh, Trippy. And he knows, he's ashamed then, and he goes and he walks away from me, or he won't come near me. So I mustn't tell him off. I got to get him near me, and then I got to slather him in antibiotic powder, which I keep here ready, and triple antibiotic cream, and all the sorts of little things just to stop it getting infected until it all grows back. And then there's scabs, and then I sort of work on the scabs with a bit of Vaseline and stuff. Oh, and he's obviously, I've just had another supply of cat coats. I've got about 10 of them now. I put a coat on him. He's got a nice yellow one on today, which is great for night time, because if he does go anywhere near the road, I've got a nice neon green and a purple one and an orange one. So I put those on him, but it doesn't stop him going for his neck and his legs. Oh, he's like having a naughty child that keeps hurting himself. It's awful. If you've got any ideas, stick them in the comments and I'll be ever so grateful. But I've tried virtually everything. He's flea'd and wormed, always. He's flea'd and wormed, so he hasn't got anything like, well, maybe he's got an itch, but I can't see an itch. He doesn't scratch. He grooms himself, and then he comes up with a handful of fur. Terrible, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to go now. It's 4:24 in the morning. See now? I'll take my quetiapine now, and I'll be asleep, and I'll be awake all awake all tomorrow night. But don't worry about me, because I'm happy as I am. I really am. Nice and warm over here at the moment, and some lovely weather. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'll see you as soon as I can. Maybe tomorrow or the day after, I expect. Cheerio!